Former WWE superstar Hideo Itami makes his debut on AEW television, and now it is time to talk about the open door between the two biggest companies in North America. Bad Bunny is also trained to become a wrestler very soon. Also alongside him will be Bow Wow. Yes, Little Mike's Bow Wow. You take that with Shaquille O'Neal on AEW, it's gonna be Celebrity Mania very soon. Ed shows up on NXT, but the ratings fall, so obviously he's not a draw. NXT Takeover Vengeance is this Sunday, and New Beginning in Hiroshima starts tomorrow, and I preview that show and what's to come of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament, and of course, we are going to talk about the biggest heel in the world right now, Wanda Maximoff. We're going to discuss all this and more in this, the 33rd edition of the Chill Spill Podcast. Yes, it's silent, by the way. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Tyler Mask, aka Tyler Suplex, aka Tyler Coon Williams, aka the one who lived. And welcome back. I'm saying welcome 3 times now. I don't know why I'm saying that. Welcome back to the 33rd edition of the Chill Spill Podcast. And that is pilled, spelled with an S. But it is silent, much like all the wrestling fans after we heard the groundbreaking news that one of the biggest celebrities in the entire world, Little Bow Wow, is going to be signing with WWE. The ratings are going to skyrocket finally. Wrestling's going to be popular again. But we'll talk about that in a bit. First things first. I'm going to get this off my chest. I've been holding this in for a few weeks now. I have nobody to talk to about this. And a few of y'all been asking me about this show. And I haven't really had the time to talk about it. But I figured I'll wait until the podcast to talk about it. Because I need y'all to remember, this is the Chill Spill Podcast, not the Chill Spill Wrestling Podcast. If I want to talk about something else, we're going to talk about something else. So, I wanted to talk about the latest episode of WandaVision. Now, it's been 4 days really, since the last episode aired, so if you're not caught up, skip ahead. I don't know what to tell you. We just got off the 5th episode of WandaVision, and bro, this shit is getting juicy now. Like, the first few episodes of WandaVision, like the first 2, I would say. The first 2 episodes of WandaVision were definitely, I don't want to say slow, but it was definitely in a whole different direction with what the show was leading on to be. Like the first episode, if you guys don't know what WandaVision is, it's basically a continuation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like if you guys, everybody knows about Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. I mean, Endgame's like, I think the greatest selling movie of all time, or the greatest grossing movie of all time. So you guys know what Endgame is. And I'm assuming most, if not all of you, seen Endgame already. Well, WandaVision is basically a continuation, an extended version of what happens after Avengers Endgame. I believe Vision died in Infinity War. I don't remember if he got revived in Endgame. I don't remember. But part of WandaVision is that Vision's alive. Vision and Wanda are alive, and they're in this like 60s, 70s set television show. It's black and white. It's very much like I Love Lucy. And this was the very first episode, and I remember watching it like, what the hell is this? What am I watching? Now, I had this feeling that it was not going to be the entire show. But then the next week, it progressed from like the 70s to like basically the 80s. And same scheme a little bit, but now it's getting a little interesting because now you have the inclusion of how did I explain it? So basically the show's in black and white. But then certain scenes from the episode are in color, like Wanda bleeds, but the blood is red. Well, not Wanda, but one of the characters from the show bleeds, but the blood is red. And it's like, oh, well, that's interesting. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of that scene from Schindler's List. I don't know if you guys ever seen this movie, but it's called Schindler's List. And it's set during World War II, during, when the Nazis were basically killing the Jews. I didn't mean Jews in an offensive way. You know what I meant. But it was set during that time period, and the movie was in black and white, but there was this little girl that was seen throughout the movie that was wearing this, like, was it a yellow? She's wearing, like, either a red or a yellow jacket. She was the only source of color in the movie. And I remember distinctly because she was in and out of the movie at times. Like, she wasn't a main character or anything, but like you would see her in and out of the movie. And spoiler, at the very end of the movie, when like the Nazis killed a bunch of the Jews, like there was this shot of all these bodies just laying on the ground, and if you pay really close attention, you can see this like red jacket in the pile of bodies, and it was just like a really, really sad scene. If you've never seen Schindler's List, go watch it. It's a phenomenal movie. Like, it's a sad movie, and if you're not a big fan of World War II or anything having to do with war or anything, you might not like it. And it's nothing like Saving Private Ryan. It's not a war movie, but it is set during the time period of World War II when Nazis were running wild in, in the East. So if you're not a big fan of that, don't watch it. I only seen it during history class in high school. It was definitely a graphic movie, definitely not a fun movie, but if you're into that type of stuff, and I mean the type of movie, not into Nazis and shit, if you're into those type of movies, then you're gonna like Schindler's List. I've seen it like 3 times, and all those times were in high school. I was kind of forced to watch it, but I've grown an appreciation for it as I got older. Anyway, away from Schindler's List, back into WandaVision here. So, Wanda, there's scenes where color shows. But then at the very end of episode 2, we see Wanda and Vision. They're outside and they're scooting out this like little mini airplane. And it's like a toy airplane, but it's in color. And it's like, that's weird. And then they look to the side and they see, they're outside. I think I already mentioned that. They see this guy in like this bee costume. You guys know how the bee costume, I guess when they're trying to extract honey from a honeycomb, they wear this like big hazmat suit. They see this guy in a bee costume coming out of the sewer, and he looks over Wanda, and she's like, no. And next thing you know, the show just basically rewinds back to a certain position, and then it's not the show itself, but like the show within the show rewinds back. And it's so odd, because it's like, how the hell did that happen? But then you get to episode 3, and one of the characters within the show is actually from S.W.O.R.D., which is like basically the FBI of the MCU, and now you're getting the introduction of a character that was actually from one of the Thor movies, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're from Thor. I know you. And then one of the characters who was actually within WandaVision, like the TV show within the TV show WandaVision, is actually from Captain Marvel, like a mini version of hers in Captain Marvel. I'm like, so we're getting all these inclusions of characters from different Marvel movies. Like, what we heading to here? But then by episode 4, it all comes to a halt when we basically find out that WandaVision is, like I said earlier, it's a show within the show. But it's, how do I explain it? It's within reality because it's all happening in real life. But it's at a crossroads because it's set within this city called Westview, New Jersey. And basically, once you get to Westview, New Jersey, it's like this gigantic force field is surrounding the entire city. And once you enter the force field, you're entered into this fake, manipulated world that is WandaVision. And you come to find out, and I don't know if it's episode 4 or episode 5, you come to find out that basically Wanda is controlling the entire city of Westview. Like, WandaVision is all her doing. Like, that's all her. And it's even more so tailored to that when during the episode S.W.O.R.D., once again, the FBI of the MCU, basically, they send in this, like, drone into Westview that makes it through, and they're looking through, and you could see as it comes from real life into Westview, it goes into this world, and you can see WandaVision internally. And Wanda gets a hold of this airplane, and and you could see like the scene where they're all looking at the force field, and it starts getting all like weird and shit. And then Wanda comes out, and like, it's not Wanda from WandaVision. It's like MCU Wanda. Like, she's in the whole Wanda Maximoff Avengers getup with the airplane, chucks it at them, and she's basically like, listen, y'all better leave me the fuck alone. I'm happy here. Vision's happy here. Fuck off. That's basically what she said, and then she went back into her world. So it's like, and that was like the craziest part of the show, because it's like, yo, she's actually controlling the entire, like, I was sitting there like, wait a minute. I knew Wanda was powerful. Like, I feel like myself and my grandmother, because my grandmother, she watched some of the MCU movies. Myself and my grandmother, when the first Avengers Endgame came out, like, we were both like, yo, this Wanda girl is the shit. Like, Wanda, like, when in Avengers Endgame, not Endgame, Infinity War, when they were at, what was it? I think that when they were in, was it Wakanda? They were in either Wakanda, they were somewhere else, but it was this big little mini fight with Black Panther and, you know, Black Widow and some of the people from the Avengers. They fought against Thanos' army, and then Thanos showed up, and that was a scene where, you know, they saw the Stormbreaker with Thor, and he tried to fight him off and whatnot. But there was a scene where Wanda and Thanos came face to face with each other, and Thanos was literally not getting his ass whooped, but he was getting it taken to him by Wanda. Like, Wanda was legitimately putting up a good fight against Thanos. Like, she was much more powerful than I originally thought she was. And I'm sitting here like, this woman, if she was by herself without Thanos' army, she probably could take down Thanos by herself. Like, that's how powerful I thought she was. And now, 3 years later, on the show WandaVision, I find out that she basically created an entire force field around this whole city. Not only did she make the force field within it tailored to how she wants it to look, but she's controlling all the minds of people there, because we found out within the episode that she basically is controlling the minds of everyone there. Everyone except Vision, kind of, sort of Vision. I'm not too sure about that. She's controlling the minds of everybody there, and on top of that, she's still as powerful as she once was, because she could step out of the force field and still mind control everybody else. Like, she's that bitch. Like, you guys heard the song from, the song made by Megan Thee Stallion, I'm that bitch, still that bitch, always gonna be that bitch. That is Wanda. It is insane. She turned heel. I love it. I can't wait to see where the story progresses. Now, I heard all about Mephisto and what might happen. I did not grow up on Marvel comics. I grew up on DC comics. So I don't know everything that's about to happen. I'm there for the ride. I'm one of those fans that don't read the comics. So y'all better not come at me in the comment section like, how do you not know this is going to happen? I did not read the comics growing up. I was a DC boy. So leave me alone. DC represent, but I like the MCU better. That's how I'm going to put it as. Anyway, I like WandaVision so far. If you guys like these little tidbits, I might start covering some MCU like stuff within the Chill Pill podcast. Like, I might start off the Chill Pill podcast talking about WandaVision and whatnot, if you guys want to hear about it. Like, just a test run, just to see if you guys like it. If you guys don't care for it, I may not talk about it. But if you guys do, shit, I'll talk about it. I might talk about it on the channel too. Who knows? But away from WandaVision, I enjoyed that episode. Can't wait for the next one dropping this Friday. We get into wrestling, because that's what you guys are here for, right? Let's talk about Bad Bunny. So, I've watched the last 4 episodes of Raw, because I've been off on Monday, and I want to try something different on the channel, which the live stream's done pretty well. Bad Bunny's been featured on really every episode of Monday Night Raw since the Royal Rumble. The last 2 Raws, and of course the Royal Rumble when he did the dive on to John Morrison and The Miz. You would think with most celebrities, they had their appearance, they promote their song, and then that's it. Bad Bunny's been a reoccurring character on WWE television for 3 weeks straight now. So now the question is, obviously he's going to be doing something with Damian Priest, because every time you see Bad Bunny, he is with Damian Priest, and they're going up against Morrison and The Miz. So, where's this leading towards? WrestleMania's down the street. Obviously, WrestleMania match is imminent. But at the same time, Bad Bunny's a whole celebrity. They're probably not going to have Bad Bunny wrestle. It's probably going to be Damian Priest versus The Miz, or Damian Priest versus John Morrison, something like that. Well, it was confirmed by Dave Meltzer that Bad Bunny reportedly is starting pro wrestling training soon in order to prepare for a rumored WrestleMania match that will see himself and Damian Priest square up against The Miz and John Morrison. So, as I said like a few seconds ago, that is a rumored, and it looks like it could be a WrestleMania match. But Bad Bunny is training to wrestle, so that's going to be interesting to see at least. But also outside of Bad Bunny training to wrestle, yesterday on Twitter, Bow Wow, and I'm sure a lot of you probably know who Bow Wow is. I know somebody in the comments section yesterday didn't know who Bow Wow was, which shocked me. But I'm sure a lot of you remember the movie Like Mike, which basically starred this little black kid named Bow Wow. I mean, that wasn't his name, but it was starred by Bow Wow. And basically the whole theme of the movie was that he wanted to be like Michael Jordan, and he had the Jordans on. He would be able to hop and do fucking hoops like Michael Jordan. That was basically the theme of the movie. This kid wanted to be like Michael Jordan. It wasn't a great movie, but it was like a cult classic, at least for the black community. I can't stand for everybody else, but for the black community growing up, this movie was definitely a legendary one. So, Like Mike was a thing. After Like Mike, he grew up. He started making his own music. I mean, he made music when he was like 6, 7 years old. Like, this kid was a star when he was like 9, 10 years old. He started making music. I remember Bow Wow Wow, Yippee Yo, Yippee Yay. I remember like all that music. Then he started to become a teenager, and then he started on this, I don't know if it was MTV or VH1. I think it was MTV. It was this show called 106 & Park, which was basically like a music show. They basically would host and show certain like pop and hit songs from that era, and then they would talk about music artists on the show, whatnot. I don't know what to compare it to, but 106 & Park ran on MTV for a few years. I don't think it's on anymore. Let me see how long it ran. Hold on. 106 & Park. How long did that show run for? From 2000 to 2014. 106 & Park ran for a very long time. That ran for 14 years. Now, I don't think Bow Wow was on the show for all 14 seasons, but 106 & Park was that show. Like, 106 & Park, what show was it on? It was on BET. Okay, never mind. I thought it was on fucking MTV. It was on BET. I got it all mixed up. But he started on 106 & Park for quite a few seasons. And now I think he's just making music, being a father, whatever he's doing. But he put out on Twitter the other day, and I just clicked off of my Google Doc. I don't know why I did that. Now I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Hold on. Let me hover back over to that. There we go. He said on Twitter yesterday that, now I know this might sound crazy, but after I drop my last album, I will focus on TV and film and joining the WWE. It's been a lifelong childhood dream to wrestle in WWE. And oh my God, were people just not for this idea. You had non-wrestling fans saying you're going to join that fake ass, corny ass, pro wrestling bullshit. Like, you're really stepping down to the lowest bar. And then you have wrestling fans not being supportive, like, but you're 35 years old, you're too old for this, and but you know nothing about wrestling, you didn't train to be a wrestler, and da 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 da. And it's like, y'all can't ever let people be happy, huh? Like, y'all ain't shit, bro. Like, here's what I don't understand. And you know what? Never mind. I do get it. Because when UFC fighters like Cain Velasquez, like Ronda Rousey, want to try their hand at WWE, it's all open arms from wrestling fans because it's real. UFC is real. Wrestling is fake. They want to bring some realism to professional wrestling. But then when it comes to people who have nothing to do with, and it doesn't even have to be UFC. If it's just sports, if it's football, if it's basketball, if it's tennis, if it's soccer, fuck, it could be curling. I don't fucking care. If it is a sport, wrestling fans are completely okay with it because that's real and this is fucking fake. Yeah, and I just said wrestling is fake. Guess what? Grass is green, water is blue. Water is opaque, really, but you know what I mean. That's real, this is fake, so we want the realism in professional wrestling. But when it comes to music artists and actors from film and TV shows and video games, and that stuff is a no-no. No, we can't have this other fake stuff mixed in with our fake stuff. That won't make sense. And these people didn't train to be wrestlers, so they're not allowed. Da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, guess what, guys? These UFC fighters, they didn't train to be professional wrestlers growing up. Yeah, they know amateur wrestling, but they didn't train to be professional wrestlers. Guess what? They have to get in the ring just like Bow Wow would have to do and learn the ropes just like Bow Wow would have to do, just like Bad Bunny would have to do. You know, I was in that ignorant mindset too when I was younger, that if they didn't start off as wrestlers, then I don't want to hear from them. But here's the fact of the matter. First of all, the first thing I heard is that, oh, he's too old, he's 35. Bow Wow was born in 1987. I was born in 1997, which means Bow Wow's only 10 years older than me. He is 33 years old. 33 is not old. Alright? Seth Rollins is 34. Roman Reigns is 35. Charlotte Flair is like 34, I think, as well. Asuka's close to 40. A lot of your favorite wrestlers on the WWE roster are in their mid-30s. Close to late 30s. So I don't want to hear Bow Wow's old. He's not old. He might be like a bit late to the game, but guess what? Not everybody has to start at the age of fetus to start wrestling. Batista started wrestling at like what, 32? And DDP started wrestling at 35. Like, you don't have to be started like, you know, in New Japan or Stardom. You don't have to start wrestling at 8 in order to be considered a wrestler. Like, that's not how this works. You can start at any age. Then we don't want Bow Wow because he didn't start off. How, like, this is so ignorant people to say. Like, guess what? Just because Bow Wow decided to pursue music first doesn't mean he's not allowed to be a wrestler. Like, I don't understand that stigma at all. Wrestling fans need to stop this. Like, for real. Because this stigma of we don't want these people in the business because they didn't want to be wrestlers growing up, but you also don't want wrestling to be a dead niche. You can't have both sides of the cake. You got to do one or the other. You either want wrestling to blow up, you want wrestling to be popular again, or you don't want it to be. Because guess what? These people like Bow Wow, who have 3 million Twitter followers and 1 million Instagram followers and a cult following from back when he was a child with Like Mike and has connections to other people in the industry who might have interest in WWE. You know, these people like Bad Bunny, who's one of the most top-selling artists of this generation of last year, sold the most albums, was the most streamed artist of 2020. They're talking about Cardi B now. Cardi B showed some interest, I think, a month ago during the Royal Rumble. Talking about wanting to get some things to come with Cardi B. Cardi B, who's one of the most popular female artists of like the last few years. You think they won't bring ratings to wrestling? They will. If they get their fans to watch their match, guess what? They will inevitably bring some people to watch them wrestle. Now, keeping them is all up to the wrestling company that pursues them. But they will bring that fandom that you want. People want newer wrestling fans, but yet they don't want newer wrestling fans. Make up your fucking mind. Which one do you want? Do you want new fans or don't you want new fans? People will sit here and say what's going to make wrestling great again is great storylines and great characters and great wrestlers. Yes, that is true, but it's not going to make wrestling popular again. That's what's going to make the wrestling fans of today happy. What's going to bring in new wrestling fans is celebrity inclusion. Because like I said earlier, wrestling is dead. Look at the ratings. 1999, you're looking at 7 million viewers on Monday Night Raw. What is the ratings in 2021? 1.5, 1.7, 1.3 at its lowest. It fell off 8 million people over the course of 20 years. And any show is going to fall off. I'm not just saying like wrestling is the only show to have ever fallen deep. Any show is going to fall. When you go high, guess what? The only place you can go is down. You may go up again, but if you go super, super high, down is the only place you're going to go at some point in time. Wrestling is not excluded. Wrestling is actually pretty much very included in that. These celebrities have mainstream appeal. And yes, not every single one of Cardi B's 15 million Twitter followers are going to watch professional wrestling. I understand that. I get that. But even just 1 million, even just a fifth of her fans watching her match is going to be more than any wrestling fan could ever imagine for professional wrestling. Because now you have an actual fan base, a new fan base, younger fan base. That's what they want. And people are saying, why are they tailoring to the younger fan base? Because the younger fan base, if you get them, if you snatch up a 13-year-old into professional wrestling, they're likely going to stick with it into their 20s, into their 30s, into their 40s. That's a long time fan right there. I started watching wrestling when I was, 9, 8, 7 years old. I'm 23 going on 24. I've been watching wrestling for nearly 20 years now. I didn't give up on wrestling. So most fans I know of who've been wrestling fans since they were younger, they haven't given up on it either. They probably tried to get other friends of theirs, other fan members, to become wrestling fans. That's how this happens. You get them started when they're young, and then they become wrestling fans and stay wrestling fans. You have to get them to stay wrestling fans. It's not up to these celebrities to keep the fandom that they bring over. It's up to the wrestling company to keep the fandom that they bring over. It's up to WWE to put on the great television to keep them. So yes, that's where you guys are right. They need to put on great television to engage those people into watching the rest of the product. Because guess what? When they watch Bow Wow wrestle, they don't give a flying fuck about Roman Reigns and Edge and Finn Balor and Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre. They don't give a fuck about those people. They care about Bow Wow and what he's doing. What AEW needs to do, what WWE needs to do, is put on their best product so that way those people who actually may stick around for the rest of the show because they're bored and have nothing else better to do, they may get interested in what these wrestlers are doing. That's what these companies also need to do. So yes, I agree with you on that front. But the notion that we don't want these people because they didn't want to be wrestlers when they grew up is completely ignorant. Because that's what's going to make wrestling popular again. So kill it. Stop it. Either accept that celebrities are going to help professional wrestling, or accept that your niche is not going to get any more popular and you're going to be the loser at your school, at your job, who still watches professional wrestling. Take one side or the other. You can't be on both sides of the fence. Rant over. All right, moving on. Oh my God. I went in there for a second. I'm not going to lie, because I feel like this argument is just so dumb to make. But anyway, outside of that, also, let's talk about Shaquille O'Neal. On AEW, we're going to be getting Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal versus Cody and Red Velvet. The same applies to AEW. The same applies to them. They have Shaquille O'Neal wrestling on the show. Is the match going to be good? Probably not. The match is probably going to suck, because guess what? Jade Cargill, she didn't want to be wrestling where she grew up either. Like, how is it exceptional for Jade Cargill, who, how old is Jade? I don't feel like she's in her like early 20s. She's a good looking woman, but she don't look like it. She don't look like she's in her early 20s. She's 28. Jade Cargill, she's very young, 28 years old. But she didn't want to start off being a professional wrestler. She started off as an American fitness model. Just signed to AEW a year ago. Like, how is it like everyone's like okay with Jade Cargill, but then they're not okay with Shaq? Y'all don't make no fucking sense. So they're going to team up. Jade Cargill, we have no idea if she's actually a good wrestler or not. We're just hoping that she is. She's teaming up with Shaq, who has no experience whatsoever, to go up against Cody. Cody's a great wrestler. But I don't know if he's going to carry Shaq to a great match. He probably won't. And Red Velvet, who I haven't seen enough Red Velvet to know if she's actually good or not. I'm going to assume she's either okay or maybe slightly better than okay. But the only good talent in this match is Cody. Let me correct that. The only good proven talent in this match right now is Cody. So you put 1 against 3, the odds of it being good or greater is not good. However, Shaquille O'Neal wrestling on Dynamite, they're wrestling on March 3rd, the episode of Dynamite, which I think is a better idea than wrestling on a pay-per-view, because here's the thing. If Shaquille O'Neal were to wrestle on AEW Revolution on March the 7th, that means you would have to convince these non-wrestling fans to pay $50 to watch Shaquille O'Neal wrestle. And guess what? That was never going to happen. So him wrestling on Dynamite is actually way better for this to actually pop a rating. Now, how big is the audience going to grow with Shaquille O'Neal? I don't know. It may top 1 million. It may not top 1 million. We'll see when it happens. However, if they do get 1 million viewers, if they do get over 1 million viewers, that's great. It's now AEW's job to keep those people who tuned into the show. So they gotta load that show the hell up. Yes, I understand Jade and Shaq are gonna be the main event. It obviously should be the main event. But Kenny should be wrestling on that show. The Young Bucks should be wrestling on that show. Jungle Boy. Like, that show should be loaded with matches. And I understand that Revolution is that exact same weekend. I didn't forget about that. But at the same time, if you have the potential to garner a newer audience, a newer fan base, you want that wrestling show to be loaded up. So I don't want them to act like, well, we got Revolution this week. No, fucking load that show up. I want to see some of the best wrestling possible in this show, and then we get to the shitty main event. That's what I want to see. And that's what I want to see out of WWE if we get Bow Wow on the show. Yes, Bow Wow probably will end up being the main event of whatever show he's on. Probably WrestleMania. But the rest of the show has to be good for the wrestling fans to stay. And that means Raw after WrestleMania, SmackDown after WrestleMania. We better get the same going forward. That's how wrestling should be. Get newer fans, keep them. Not keep the old fans happy, which they haven't been doing very much lately. But get in new, keep them as well. Keep the old happy, keep the new invested. That is the idea here. That's what we should be heading towards. Moving on. Selena Vega, her contract is up next week. Well, she was released by WWE back in November last year, November 16th. You guys all know the story. She had OnlyFans, she kept doing her Twitch, and they fired her because they halted operations on third-party platforms like Twitch and Cameo, and she decided she wasn't going to do it, rightfully so, and they fired her, which, fuck WWE. I'll keep saying it, they're a scummy-ass company. The only reason I watch them is because I've been watching them since I was a child, and I don't even watch them like that. I watched 4 episodes of Raw because it did popular on my channel. I wanted to see how the experiment was going to go. That's about it. After next week, I'm probably not watching Raw anymore. I don't watch SmackDown. I don't watch NXT. I watch the Royal Rumble because I love the Royal Rumble. I will watch WrestleMania because I watch WrestleMania every single year like most wrestling fans do. But fuck this company. Fuck this company. But all that out the way. She was released on November 16th, 2020. So do the math. December 2020 will be 1 month. January 2020 will be 2 months. February 2020 is 3 months. 90 days from November 16th is February 16th, which means 7 days from now, next Tuesday, her contract will be up. Now, will she appear on Dynamite? Will she appear on the Indies? Will she go back to WWE? Probably not. Will she go to, I don't know, fucking Stardom in Japan? Like, where is she gonna go? I have no idea. I'm not her. However, I wouldn't mind seeing Selena Vega in AEW. At the same time, AEW's women's division is absolute garbage right now. I mean, I'm not saying the whole division's garbage because they have great talent, but the booking of the division is garbage. Let me correct myself. I don't believe AEW deserves any great women's talent until they get their women's division in check. Now, they could easily fix this solution with the Eliminator Tournament, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but I don't want to actually see Selena Vega in AEW. Not right now. Until they get their act together, no. Impact Wrestling had Selena Vega before when she was Rosita. That was like back 10 years ago. She is a former Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I wouldn't mind seeing her Impact Wrestling. I don't watch Impact Wrestling, so I wouldn't care too much. The Indies, they could get Selena Vega. She would be a nice pickup. Like, Selena Vega is good in the ring. I haven't seen a great Selena Vega match, but she's good in the ring. You wouldn't know that because she doesn't wrestle that much. She's always managing people. So, she could go to Stardom. I don't know what the likelihood of that is because she would probably have to move there in order to start training. And I don't know if that's really what she wants to do. We shall see where she goes, but I'm interested nonetheless. Her husband, Aleister Black, has also not been seen on WWE television since her release. So, question is he still under WWE contract? I believe so. He could be possibly waiting for his contract to end so that way he could go somewhere else with his wife. They could be working something out with him. I don't know, but I hope to see Aleister Black on TV soon or even in another TV soon. But he's probably sitting out with his wife, standing up for what he believes in. His wife got released unjustly, so I don't blame that guy at all for not winning wrestling for that stupid-ass company. Speaking of people wrestling for that stupid-ass company, Cesaro, several weeks ago, reports came out that his contract was going to be up after WrestleMania. This got fans running wild with the idea of Cesaro possibly going to AEW, possibly going to New Japan, which would have been fucking sick. But within a week or two later, a few days ago, Cesaro did re-sign with WWE. Reports did come out that Cesaro did sign another contract. It was also reported that WWE told Cesaro that he is needed to put over younger talent. So he is very much aware of his use in the company, of why they need him, why they want him, but he resigned. So the way I see it, as much as I want to be mad and pissed that Cesaro didn't go somewhere else where he could be used better, can't be that mad about it, because the man knew what he was getting into and he resigned. I love Cesaro. You guys know this. I've been a huge fan of Cesaro for a very long time. I've been wanting him to be pushed to a main event level for a very long time. But I realized that that is never going to happen. It is never going to happen. And it is clear from that quote that it is never going to happen. Cesaro is 40 years old, so he's not young anymore. They had the opportunity to push him, and they didn't. So I guess I'll give up on any dream of Cesaro being a WWE champion. It's over. It is over. So, like I said, I want to be mad, but I can't be. The guy knew what he was getting into when he re-signed the contract. It's whatever at this point. It's whatever. I'll tune in when he's wrestling. Daniel Bryan is wrestling a star that I want to see rise, but the idea of Cesaro being a superstar or a WWE champion, you might as well just put that dream to sleep for good. Getting away from that, Edge showed up on NXT last week. It was only advertised on Twitter and social media. Like, they didn't announce it for Raw like a few days prior. They didn't even really tease it on WWE television at all. So, unless you're on social media, which most people are, you wouldn't have known about it. But he showed up on NXT as part of his Rated R World Tour, which I'm calling it that. They don't officially call it that, but I'm calling it that. He showed up on a show to interrupt Finn Balor and Pete Dunne during their little promo in the ring. And he basically said, hey, listen, I'm still very much not decided on who I want to wrestle WrestleMania. But it could be one of you two. It could be one of you two. I might choose you. I might choose you. I ain't gonna lie. I fucking hate it when WWE does this. Like, yes, I understand Edge can challenge anybody he wants. I understand that. However, every week I don't need to see Edge show up on Raw and SmackDown NXT to tell me that he can challenge anybody. I know that. Unless he's going to wrestle on NXT, unless he's going to wrestle on SmackDown, I don't want to see him every single week doing this. He's full time, so yes, he probably will end up showing up on every show. But if that is the only purpose for Edge, then that is stupid. He can wrestle. Let him wrestle. But Edge did show up, so you would think that with Edge being the star that he is, the superstar, at least at one point, he calls himself the Rated R superstar, that he is or was, that he would pop a rating. They may even beat AEW in the ratings this week. But no, you would be wrong. Not only did they still lose to AEW Dynamite, Beats Break, but they fell 110,000 viewers in the ratings that same week. Going down to, I believe, 600,000 viewers, which is among the lowest ratings NXT could ever do. The lowest they've done, I think, was 500,000, but 600,000 for them is still really, really low. So they dropped off big time, even with Edge advertised. Maybe not major advertisement, but even with the advertisement on social media, they still did not increase. So Edge is a draw? I think not. I tease. Y'all probably gonna get pissed at me for saying that, but I'm just saying, if Edge is on Raw, on SmackDown, on NXT, and ratings don't go up by much, you probably ain't a draw anymore, buddy. Also, consider this. Maybe NXT ratings are low because NXT just isn't that good anymore. There might be something else too. But I guess the question is Edge going to face Finn Balor? No, he's not. Is he going to face Pete Dunne? He's not. He's going to challenge Roman Reigns. He may challenge Drew, but I don't see why he would challenge Drew unless he's going to turn heel. I mean, I don't think Edge is turning heel unless Drew turns heel, which seems kind of unnecessary to do, so I don't think Drew's turning heel. I think that Roman's already a made heel, already a top heel, not one to Maximoff levels of heel, but already a top heel in professional wrestling. Might as well challenge himself. Might as well challenge Roman. Spear versus spear. They wanted to do it right last year with Goldberg. Let them do it this year with Edge Roman. Not a big fan of the concept. Not a big fan of the possibility of Edge beating Roman Reigns, but hey, I think the promos they can have might be masterful. Edge is great on the mic. Roman is really great on the mic. I'm actually kind of enticed by it a little bit. I just don't want to see Roman lose to Edge. That's all. But outside of that, now let's hop into NXT Takeover Vengeance happening this Sunday. Reminder, I will be live streaming my live reactions to Takeover Vengeance this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in for it there. We have 5 matches confirmed for this show. One of the 2 being Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez in the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Women's Tag Team Classic, going up against the team of either The Way, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, or Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. So, question is, who goes to the finals? Candice or Indy, or Shotzi and Ember? I think it's probably going to be Shotzi and Ember, because Candice and Indy are heels, and so is Dakota and Raquel. So, a heel versus heel finals is not going to make sense. So, Shotzi and Ember make it on, and the finals will be Dakota and Raquel versus Shotzi and Ember. I'm going to say, because I do believe the winners will challenge the Women's Tag Team Champions at WrestleMania, I'm going to go with Dakota and Raquel to win this match and go to the finals. Raquel is somebody I've been pushing lately. Dakota is a very weird case because it's like they try to push Dakota and then they stop, then they try and then they stop. Like, she's very start and stop with them. Like, I don't know what they want to actually do with her, but I could see her being Women's Tag Team Champions with Raquel. She didn't win them with Tegan last year. Maybe she win them with Raquel this year. Who knows? If they keep the titles on Asuka and Charlotte going into WrestleMania, it's also an odd dynamic because maybe Charlotte's a babyface. I don't know. I don't know what Charlotte is. If she is a babyface, that may make sense. I just feel like Charlotte and Asuka as Women's Tag Team Champions going to WrestleMania doesn't seem likely. Don't ask me who wins it. It may be Lana and Naomi. If it is Lana and Naomi versus Dakota and Raquel, it's definitely Raquel and Dakota winning the match, but we shall see. Also, we have the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Finals. Now, this is not really set in stone yet, so I'll have to do predictions for this as well. We have Ciampa and Thatcher, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, happening on NXT this week. I'm going to go with Ciampa and Thatcher to make it to the finals. And also, this week on NXT, we have MSK of Nash Carter and Wesley. Yes, Wesley is 2 words, not 1. Versus Legado del Fantasma of Joaquin Wilde and you're not gonna lie, I don't know who the other guy is. Oh wait, is that Joaquin Wilde's one of them? Is it he faced Kota Ibushi in the Cruiserweight Classic? Is it fuck, I don't know the guy's name. The other guy, whoever the other guy is. I'm so mean. I'm so sorry. MSK is probably winning that, so I'm gonna say the finals will be Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher versus MSK. I am going to go with MSK to win the tag team finals and face the tag team champions at WrestleMania. Who's the tag team champions right now? Who are the tag team champions right now? Oh my god, I don't know who the... Oh my god. That shows you how much I watch this product. I don't know who the NXT tag team champions are. The last tag team champions I knew of were Imperium. I don't know if they're still the champions right now. It is currently... Is it Imperium? Hold on. I gotta check. Yo, the fact that I don't know who the tag team champions are should tell you all I know about WWE right now. Okay, so it's only Lorcan and Danny. Yo! They won the tag team championships 110 days ago? Holy shit. Guys, I honestly forgot they were the tag team champions. Like, ever since they stopped using Pat McAfee on NXT television, I honestly stopped caring about this faction. Does anybody else feel the same way? Be honest. Be honest. Do y'all care about Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch as a faction when Pat McAfee isn't there? Because I don't. Pat McAfee was the most entertaining part of NXT television, and then they stopped booking him, so... You know, such is life. But MSK versus Tim Thatcher. Oh my god, Tim Thatcher. Versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. That would be really great. I don't know if that happens at WrestleMania or the next TakeOver. I'm going to assume the next TakeOver. Probably WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania is 2 weeks. It's a 2-week event. So I don't know how that's going to work. Because... 2-week event. 2-day event. If WrestleMania is on Saturday and Sunday, they won't put TakeOver on Friday because SmackDown's on Friday. unless they want to do a doubleheader with SmackDown happening 8 to 10 and the NXT's 10 to 12. But I don't know who is insane enough to do 4 hours of wrestling like that. I mean, then again, people are insane enough to watch 4 hours of WrestleMania or 7 or 8 hours of WrestleMania. So I wouldn't put it past them to do that, but I don't know how that's going to work. I'm assuming that with... So, my microphone cut out, so I need to re-record this part again. But, as I was saying, I don't know who's insane enough to watch 4 hours of wrestling. Oh, yes, wrestling fans are. So, wouldn't put it past them, but I believe I was talking about the tag team match. So, if it comes down to Ciampa Thatcher versus MSK, I'm going to go MSK. And I'm assuming that at WrestleMania, they're going to defend the NXT Tag Team Championships because, after all, I don't think Takeover is probably happening that same week. If they do, maybe next week. But I think WrestleMania makes the most sense. MSK versus Thatcher. I keep on saying Thatcher when I meant to see Lorcan and Birch. Versus Lorcan and Birch should be really good. Io Shirai defends her NXT Women's Championship against Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. Should be a really good match. I don't get the sense Toni Storm nor Mercedes Martinez will be the people that beat Io Shirai. Not saying they're not worthy of being women's champion, but I don't know who it is. I just don't think it's them. So Io Shirai to retain the championship. Gianna Gargano versus Kushida for the NXT North American Championship. Johnny walks in as champion. Will he walk out as champion? Kushida's been very, very, very protected ever since coming into NXT. So he may be due for a championship. But I don't know. Like, Johnny Gargano, it's an odd case because it's like I don't feel like he's ever going to get back to being NXT champion again. I feel like that time for him has come and gone. Same with Ciampa. They're kind of like the NXT dads. They're there to do matches and have great matches, but they're there to elevate talent as well. They're the NXT dads. I don't know if this is the time for him to lose a championship. Then again, I don't watch the product, so I don't know when is the time. Who it's to. It could be to Kushida, and I won't be mad at that. But I do get the sense Johnny's retaining the title here. So Johnny to retain the championship. Then the main event of the evening, Finn Balor defending the NXT championship against Pete Dunne. Will Pat McAfee's faction walk out as champions? I am going to say no. I think Finn Balor retains the championship here. It will be a great match. It should be a tremendous match, given the talent in here. Pete Dunne is a former NXT UK champion of nearly 2 years. I don't think him winning the NXT championship is a bad thing. Honestly, it will be a good thing. But I don't know. Finn Balor, I don't know who he drops it to, but I don't think it's Pete Dunne. So, Pete Dunne will lose this match. Finn Balor retains. Sorry if that just felt kind of odd of how I worded that, but microphone shut off and I honestly was talking for like a solid 10 minutes afterwards. I'm a little upset. But now let's hop into some AEW. AEW's Women's Eliminator Tournament was announced a few weeks ago. It was also announced that Riho vs. Serena Deeb is one of the matches confirmed. But now we have confirmation of who's all in this tournament. It will be a USA side and a Japanese side. On the USA side, we have the NWA Women's World Champion, Serena Deeb, of course. We have Riho, Britt Baker, Tay Conti, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Anna Jay, and Layla Hirsch. No Big Swole, a little upset about that, but that's a good lineup. But on the Japanese side, is where things are interesting. We have Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, Veni, Emi Sakura, Ryo Mizunami, not Riho, Ryo, R-Y-O, Ryo, Mizunami, Mei Suruga, or Suruga, Mei Suruga, I'm going to say, Ren Kodokura, and Maki Ito. Maki Ito is one of the most over things on wrestling Twitter right now. She has already gotten the American fan base on her side, as I expected her to, because she knows her gimmick and she's great at it. Jim Cornette may not like it, but who cares about his opinions, right? So who do I think wins both sides? Who wins the tournament? So far, this week, we're getting the start of it. Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa will be happening this week. If you ask me, I want the finals of the tournament to be Maki Ito versus Thunder Rosa, because they've had a feud in TJPW before, which was really fun, and I really would love to see Maki Ito back on AEW television. Like, Maki Ito on AEW television would be so much fun. Thunder Rosa getting back at Hikaru Shida should be good as well. Who I think will be the finals, I think it probably will end up being Yuka Sakazaki versus Britt Baker. They had a match before, they may have a rematch again. Honestly and truly, I don't want Britt Baker to win this tournament. They could do Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida at Revolution, and who the hell is going to tell them that they shouldn't do it? Britt Baker's been built up on AEW television for literally an entire calendar year. Since January last year when she turned heel, she's been built up. There's been no time other than the present to have her be the one to beat Hikaru Shida for the championship. So I don't know why they wouldn't do a Revolution, but they should do the Revolution. And if this tournament is to set that up, that is completely a miss of the boat on somebody else to be a bigger star. Like, Britt Baker is you could say she's a star, you could say she's not a star, that's all an eye to beholder. Britt Baker is worthy of being the women's champion at this point, from how they've been booking her. She doesn't need to win this tournament to be the women's champion. She can literally just face Hikaru Shida at Revolution and win it there. This can be set up for somebody else to face Shida, or somebody else to face Britt Baker, depending on when they do this championship. Because I can already envision that whoever wins this tournament likely will not challenge at Revolution, because I don't think... How many weeks we have left in Revolution in AEW? We have this week, next week, the following week. We got at least 4 weeks of Dynamite, and that's a 16-woman tournament. Unless they do 4 matches on Dynamite this week, 4 matches on Dynamite the next... They need to do 4 matches over the next few weeks in order to get to the finals by Revolution. And I don't think AEW cares that much about women's wrestling to do that. So I don't think this tournament's going to finish in time for Revolution. So who faces Hikaru Shida at Revolution? I mean, now, Shida, from what I've heard, is in Japan right now. Like, they sent her to Japan. She already quarantined. So she's going to be over there doing matches. Now, I don't know exactly why she's in Japan doing matches when she could be in the States doing matches. But if she is going to be facing somebody from the Japanese side, then hey, that should rock. But at the same time, if she's in Japan, would that mean that somebody from the Japanese side is going to win? Like, how is she? Why is she in Japan right now? I don't know why she's in Japan. That's so odd. Because she's the women's champion after all. The women's champion is still not on TV. Once again, AEW pretty much basically books their NWA, which it doesn't belong to them, by the way. The NWA Women's World Champion better than they do the Women's Champion. But this has been the trend since Thunder Rosa came in, so I'm not surprised. Don't know how anybody can care about this Women's Championship anymore. The Eliminator Tournament is a good way to get investment and get people to care about it again, because honestly, if you don't care about the women's division, I wouldn't blame you whatsoever. I just hope that Britt Baker gets her championship match and beats her without having to win the tournament to do so, but we'll see what happens. But let's get into what a lot of you have been waiting for me to talk about. KENTA. After AEW's Beach Breaks main event that saw Kenny Omega team up with the Good Brothers to take on the team of Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix, we saw somebody attack Jon Moxley after the show. And the guy unmasked to be KENTA, attacking Jon Moxley, who was going to be facing Jon Moxley for the IWGP United States Championship on NJPW Strong in 3 weeks' time. He showed up on AEW television in the flesh. No Dynamite, no satellite, nothing. He was actually there. And everybody was going off on Twitter. This is the opening of the Forbidden Door. Dave Meltzer basically said it's the opening of the Forbidden Door. Brian Alvarez said the door is unlocked, so believe who you want to believe. But there has to be a working relationship of some sort for a New Japan Pro Wrestler to be on Dynamite. But then, a day to sweeten the deal, a day later, AEW Dynamite puts out an exclusive online that shows Kenny Omega and KENTA backstage after the show. Kenny Omega says, "What? I didn't know the Switchblade sent you over here." He basically said verbatim, "Switchblade never told me to expect a guest." and then put up a 2-tweet to Kenta. Kenta said, "Shut the fuck up. I'm not your friend. I'm here to beat Jon Moxley," and walked off. Vintage Kenta. Kenny cut a promo. I didn't really care about the promo. Like, Kenny, I don't know what it is about Kenny Omega as the AEW World Champion, but I don't care about it. You know what? I know what it is, but I've talked about it already. Don't feel like going in through it again. Kenny Omega as the AEW World Champion, not doing it for me. But if we're going to get matches like this, keep him as a champion. Because we got this match official for Dynamite this week. A lights out match. So technically it's not officially a match that will go into the record books of Dynamite. But we have a match set. The team of Jon Moxley and Lance Archer. Mind you, Jon Moxley is billed as the IWGP United States Championship with the IWGP US Championship in the actual match card, physically in the match card, going up against Kenny Omega and Kenta. Kenta is holding the briefcase in the match card as well. So they are fully fledged, basically promoting New Japan Pro Wrestling on AEW Dynamite. This is a absolutely great sign for a partnership. And then we have the announcement of New Japan on Roku channel. So they have some good things going on. But AEW and New Japan are working together. I am absolutely ecstatic about this. So many possibilities could be coming forward. Now, obviously, there's not going to be much happening within the next few weeks or even months with COVID still running rampant in the States, and will probably forever run rampant in the States. COVID's literally going to be the biggest heel of all time at this point. But think about all the possibilities we may get. And I want to talk so much about what we're possibly going to get, but I'm going to hold off until the next episode of the Chill Spill Podcast, because we don't exactly know what we might be heading towards. Yes, we're getting Kenta on this episode, but let's not look too deep into it just yet. Even though Meltzer said it's confirmed, even Brian Alvarez said it's kind of sort of confirmed, Jon Moxley did sign with New Japan before he signed with AEW. After all, Jon Moxley is the IWGP US Champion. He is facing Kenta on NJPW Strong. This could be AEW doing New Japan a favor. For, you know, I guess New Japan doing AEW a favor by lending them Kenta. So that way, you know, here's how I think it may went down. Because Jon Moxley was allowed to wrestle in Japan, but he was never allowed to wrestle for New Japan in the States because contractual agreements or whatever the case may be. That's all being null and void with Jon Moxley wrestling on NJPW Strong. So how I think this may have happened is Tony Khan said, alright, we'll let him wrestle on NJPW Strong, but only if Kenta wrestles on Dynamite. That could be all that's happening here. Could be you shake my hand, I shake your hand, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. That could be the case. Or we could be seeing other wrestlers from New Japan come over to AEW very soon. There is Rocky Romero and NJPW Strong, Hikuleo, Chase Owens. You know, guys coming in and out of NJPW Strong. I don't see any big names like Okada or Naito or Bushi coming over. If they do, that will be when the contract is, you know, sealed and deal with the partnership months down the line. But right now, they may be just testing waters with the relationship. So let them take their baby steps. Let's not rush it. Let's let it progress and blossom into something beautiful. But I'm excited for next week. It's lights out, so no matter who wins, it doesn't really affect much, but I'm going to take a wild gander that Kenta pins Moxley on that show to build up their match at NJPW Strong. Speaking of New Japan, they have their big show coming up this weekend, New Beginning in Hiroshima, and when I say this weekend, I mean literally tomorrow and Wednesday. I will not be doing live streams for those episodes, but I will be doing reviews on this very channel. Well, not on Tyler Mass, but on the Tyler Kuhn Williams channel. I will be doing reviews of these two shows. So, guys, it's my first review of New Japan on YouTube since September. So, I want you to do me a favor. Head over to those reviews when they go up and like the fuck out of them. Like, literally like them and share them, and let's get them up there. They do well, we may do more in the future. But so far, we're just gonna dip our toes in the water and see what happens. But it's coming up in the next 2 days. We have 10 or I think 11 matches on the card, but I'm only going to preview the top 3 matches because I want to keep this show under an hour. We're already about to hit an hour, but I want to keep it under an hour. So we're only going to preview the top 3 matches. One of those matches will be for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. The Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa will defend their championships against Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. of the Dangerous Tekkers. God has been winning all their tag matches against the Dangerous Tekkers. They're literally 4-0 right now against them. Dangerous Tekkers are due back for a win. Now, they could get the championships back. It is still a heel versus heel faction. Heel versus heel feud going on here, which it intrigues me about this. But God is due for a loss. I'm going to say Dangerous Tekkers win the championships back. Don't know what the direction of the tag team titles are after this feud's over, but I wouldn't mind seeing Taichi and ZSJ get a bit of a longer run with that. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, they're like tag team champions for life. They'll win it back at some point. They're fine without the tag team titles. But this is on Hiroshima Night 1, which is tomorrow. In the main event of that show, Hiromu Takahashi defends his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against Sho. I believe the last singles match they had was BOSJ 25, which I've never seen that match. This, no. BOSJ 25 and then BOSJ last year, were the last 2 matches they had. They're 1-1. I think Sho is definitely Junior Heavyweight Championship material. And I would be absolutely elated if he were to beat Hiromu on this show. However, Hiromu is the ace of the juniors. I don't get the sense that he's going to be dropping the title of the show. I think Sho is one of those guys who's going to be, taking a fall to Hiromu to build up whoever's next. So I'm going to go with Hiromu Takahashi to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Once again, if Sho wins, I will be elated. I'm actually kind of rooting for Sho more than I'm rooting for Hiromu, but I love both men. Whoever wins, I'm happy. Then the main event of Night 2 happening Wednesday, 1 a.m. Well, let me talk about the other match, because we have a new match announced for the Night 2 as well. We have the team of Hiroki Goto, Tomoichi, and Yoshihashi defending the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships against Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jay White. So Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, can they be double Tag Team Champions? Maybe, but I think they're losing the titles to Dangerous Tekkers. So that opens them up for this match with Jay White. Jay White going from main event of Tokyo Dome to Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships is such a step down for him. I talked about it last week. I'm not going to talk about it too much again. I'll talk about it if he wins the tag team titles. I think he's probably winning them. I'm going to go with Jay White, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa to win the Never 6 titles. And I'll rant about it when he wins the titles. But for now, such a missed opportunity on Jay White. But now let's talk about the main event of the evening for Night 2. Sonata will be going up against the IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight Champion Kota Ibushi. Sonata has gone up against Ibushi before, as early as G1 Climax Finals last year, and he lost the match. Is he due back for a win? Logic would say that he is, but it's for the titles, and Sonata will never, ever be heavyweight and IC champion. Sonata is boring. He sucks. That is Toxic Tyler talking. Thoughts about Sonata aside, I don't know when he's going to win both. He's going to beat IWGP Heavyweight Champion at some point in his lifetime. I don't know when that is, but it's not today. Kota Ibushi won those championships a month ago. Kota Ibushi is not getting a 1-month reign. So no. Sonata's not winning it. Kota Ibushi will retain both championships. If he does, I will be absolutely disgusted with this company. And I will probably go to Japan, fly all the way there, and I will actually throw hands with New Japan Pro Wrestling after I'm finished with TVSI, because I'm not finished with them yet. I'm like Braun Strowman. I'm not finished with them yet. All right, I'm stopped. I'm over. It's over. I'm done. That was the 33rd episode of the Chill Spill Podcast. What did you guys think? What are your thoughts on Bow Wow and Bad Bunny and New Japan and AEW? Comment down below. Let your boy know. I'm out of here. I'll see you all next Wednesday for the 34th edition of the Chill Spill Podcast. Peace.